Hey everyone, it's Tina from Tina's Crafty Crochet and Tafag Grafts, and I'm going to be showing you how to put together a portrait graph, or basically any graph that is multi-pages that I just showed you how to print off. You're going to need some tape or a glue stick, some scissors, and your graph. Now this is the first page, and I always include this so you know what your project's supposed to look like. Now these are the rest of the pages of the graph, and the back page is your information sheet. It gives you your color key, your symbol key, and since this program uses DMC embroidery thread, it gives that name and how many skeins and whatnot of that color. I just usually take this to the yarn store with me and try to match the color as best possible. Now, page 1 looks like this, and I haven't completely edited this one, so there are some mistakes in it. And then the pages that you're going to have to stick it to has the gray that overlaps, so we're going to have to cut all these edges that overlap, and I'm going to pause it and cut one, and then I'll show you how to cut the last one. Okay, I've got this top page 1 cut, and it'll lay over on page 2. Now it also page 1 needs to lay over page 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and cut right across the bottom, as close to the line as possible, but not getting into the line. Sorry, my allergies are acting up, so I'm a little snuffly today. And then it'll lay over that. But both of these need to lay over page 4, page 2 and 3. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off this side. And the great thing about Adobe is it gives you those 2-line overlap, and they've grayed that out so you know that that's where something's going to overlap on it. So I cut all of my pieces first, but I usually, do lay them out so I can see where they go. And now what I will do is I will line these up and go over my 2 right there. And first of all, I'll take a few pieces of tape and stick them to the table or counter or wherever I'm doing this. So that way, while I have my hands on it, I can line them up. And now I mark on mine with a super fine point Sharpie, and you can't always mark on the tape. That's why some people like to use the glue stick, but I'm just not patient enough for the glue stick. And so now I'm going to tape the bottom 2 together, make sure they are lined up. Move part 1 out of the way. Let's line these up and over. Oops. Hands are a little shaky. And this time I just stuck on the tape on my fingers. Now when I enlarge it, there's a lot more coverage, and usually I have a cousin that has a lot better eyesight than I do, and she helps me putting the lot larger ones together, especially if it's a bigger graph can. So we line these up here. And I'm just going to tape right across it. And this is the pattern that I will use to make this graph can. Now, depending on what stitch I use will depend on how I read the pattern and how much of this excess around that I cut off. Because I always number my rows. Since I'm right-handed, I will go in and write all my odd number rows on the right and all my even number rows on the left, because I always start right to left on the odd, and then the even is left to right, and that makes the odd side my front side. So I throw all of my tails and stuff to the back. I hope this has helped, and next week I will have someone to help with the camera work, and I will actually do a demonstration on how to do the cut and tie method. And if I need to, I can do another one on bobbins. So until next time, happy hooking.